I have said this publicly 10, 20, 30 times. I'm going to repeat this. I'm a failed entrepreneur. कोई अपना घर मत बेचना ये पॉडकास्ट देख के.
तो फैक्ट्री पहले बनाई, ब्रांड बाद में बनाया. क्यों ऐसा क्यों?
सोच ये थी कि our first big B2B order was we got a 70,000 kg order from Domino's, and I had heard some food blogger saying Veeba bottle, 20 grams of sugar in this bottle. Unfortunately for me, no one takes this and drinks it like get. The most difficult thing for a founder, ask any founder, is जब salary देने के पैसे ना हो. On day one, Pratham, I was very clear that we will be a distribution-first organization. Our biggest city is Delhi, our largest state is Maharashtra, and our largest region is South India. So we are truly national in that sense.
All right, thanks Viraj for coming in today.
Thank you for having me.
I really appreciate. This is your second time at the Masters Union campus.
Yes.
And thank you Viraj. Thank you.
Viraj.
Confusion
dies. Raj.
But I really appreciate your time, and there is so many things to unpack today.
Yes.
In the audience today, we have a lot of students who are setting up their D2C brands. They're in their 0 to 1 journey, and they have a lot of questions around the cold start problem, right? And so we're going to focus primarily on that.
Right.
And of course, then we'll talk about Veeba. We'll talk about your journey, your story. But the thing is that now you're so popular, everybody already knows your story. But let's start with, first of all, your early days, like your super early days, your first 100 days, if you remember.
Of course I do.
Right. I think those are the most important.
And the most difficult.
Right? I want to unpack those today.
Okay.
Primarily.
Yeah.
And then we'll move on to the next things.
So my first 100 days were a bit different from the normal D2C. First of all, we are not a D2C company. Okay. So
That's true, actually.
We are actually a traditional FMCG company.
Also doing D2C.
And we're a confused startup because all startups are FMCG, D2C companies, and we are not. My journey, why is it different from usual, most of the D2C? This thing is because I was very clear on day one that Veeba, guys, I will say Veeba and VRB interchangeably because that's how I think. VRB is the holding company which owns Veeba. So that VRB will be we will manufacture our own product. So maybe the right question would be after manufacturing plant setup, because my first 180 days were only and only making the factory. और मैं ड्रामेटिक नहीं साउंड करना चाहता कि मैंने अपने हाथों से बनाई है, बट मैंने सीमेंट अपने हाथों से खरीदा, लगाने वाला कोई और था, बट वो जो होते हैं ना कॉन्ट्रैक्ट देने के पैसे नहीं थे. तो मी एंड आवर फर्स्ट टीम मेंबर मुकुल जी, हम दोनों ने एक साथ मिलके वहां खड़े होकर फैक्ट्री बनाई.
फैक्ट्री पहले बनाई, ब्रांड बाद में बनाया.
फैक्ट्री पहले बनाई, ब्रांड बाद में बनाया.
ये क्यों, ऐसा क्यों?
सी द थिंग,
ये सोच क्या थी?
सोच ये थी कि पीस ऑफ माइंड. आई फील दैट आई लव माई स्लीप. एंड आई फील कि अगर मैं अपने प्रोडक्ट्स खुद बना रहा हूँ, आई एम वेरी वेरी हैप्पी स्लीपिंग कंफर्टेबली. इफ आई गो 3P, इट इज नॉट अ क्रीम जो हाथ पे लगनी, इट इज समथिंग जो बच्चे के पेट के अंदर जाने. इट्स अ ह्यूज रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी, एंड इट वॉज नॉट अ रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी आई वॉज विलिंग टू शेयर विद एनीवन एल्स. एंड ऑल्सो इंडिया ऑफ 2013 when we started VRB, India, if you remember, that was the time of tomato ketchup, hot and sweet sauce, little bit of mayonnaise and little bit of mustard. So 3P ज़्यादा manufacturers थे ही नहीं जो साउथ वेस्ट चिपोतले बना लेंगे, स्वीट अनियन बना लेंगे. So because of that, we had to end up doing a lot of things. And on day one, Pratham, I was very clear that we will be a distribution first organization, and distribution costs money. So if I have to break the VRB journey, it's in 3 phases. Phase 1 is making the factory. I'm a failed entrepreneur. I had miserably failed in a restaurant business before that, and after that, the courage to buy a factory was difficult, So I was like bank balance 0.00.
You did the capex before you had any indication कि product successful होगा कि नहीं होगा.
Yeah. So and I think all entrepreneurs, including you, we all are a bit crazy, right? Otherwise नहीं बन पाते entrepreneurs. So I did not do all of the अगर मैं कोई study कर लेता, कोई research के लिए पैसे खर्च लेता, then the research would have said इस इंडस्ट्री से दूर रहो because दुनिया की सबसे बड़ी 2 companies are the incumbents, right? Yeah. So just stay away from this place. But I built the plant. We built it in 6 months. We bought a unit from a bank, which was a pharma unit, and we converted it into food in 6 months.
It was a stressed unit.
Stressed unit. So if you look at our journey, divided into 3 parts. So first is building the plant. Second is I wanted to always be a distribution first organization, and distribution is expensive. You have to hire people. You have to, put feet on the street kind of a thing. That costs money. तो मैंने अपना, again naivety, मैंने अपना plan number 2 बनाया कि 100 crores revenue कर लूँगा B2B में, उसके बाद मैं B2C में घुस जाऊंगा एज इफ 100 करोड़ इज गोइंग टू बी इजी। मतलब आई एम टेलिंग यू स्टूपिड कि 100 करोड़ कर लूंगा फिर B2C में घुस जाऊंगा। तो part 2 of the journey was 100 crores revenue, and part 3 is when we actually became what you can now loosely call a D2C, or we don't call it D2C, consumer first brand. So if I have to give you an idea of, so that everyone has perspective right now, out of our revenues, even today, 7-8% of our revenue comes from B2B. So Domino's, Pizza Hut, Burger King, Starbucks.
70%.
7-8%.
7-8%. Sorry.
7-8%. 7.5% पकड़ लो आप मोटा मोटा.
Which is what you started with.
Which is what we started with. The remaining business, now if we look at that business as a whole, the remaining business, 72% of that 100%, the remaining other than the B2B business, is GT. Okay, we are present in about 780 cities of every possible point of sale. So 71-72% comes from there. 21-22% comes from.
So this is a GT product.
This is a GT. No, product to common hai.
So even the noodles etc. all GT.
Yeah. So 21-22% comes from modern trade, and 7-8% comes from online. And online में 80% of online is quick com. So our own website की sale इतनी कम है कि मेरे को पता भी नहीं. तो वो D2C कितनी होगी हमारी, like so minuscule. She's not even willing to say the number. That is how minuscule it must be. We've had actually 3 times of being a startup in our journey.
Got it. First time as a manufacturing
manufacturing
unit. Second time as a supplier to
B2B. Yeah.
And then third as a brand.
I mean, Viraj knows this, and like our first big B2B order was, we got a 70,000 kg order from Domino's. I know उसलिए कितने पापड़ बेलने पड़े. The team at Domino's was amazing. You know, all the people there, they gave. But I used to go there every day asking for business. And honestly, मतलब अब बहुत dramatic sound करेगा, but more or less true है. मेरे ऑफिस में AC नहीं होता था. I was very happy going and sitting in the reception of that. Yeah. And eventually the great team, Mr. Ajay Kaul, क्या कहते हैं, हर्षरण मारवा, असीम, they gave me a break. और वो
आपका पहला ऑर्डर था बड़ा?
First order.
नहीं, first ऐसा मतलब.
So first thing is, if you want to supply to a Domino's, you can't go to the reception and ask for business. First thing is you get your plant audited, and they send someone from US to audit the plant. So वो हमने पहले challenge पूरा कर लिया था जब हमने plant बनाया था, और बनाया अच्छा था.
उस हिसाब से बनाया था कि ये हो जाएगा.
And like if you get to know me, and Jivraj will confirm this, that I am like a crazy proud Indian, and I am a very, very quality first kind of a manufacturer. So plant audit होने के बाद is the time started when I started going to their office asking for business.
तो आपको एक confidence था फैक्ट्री के टाइम पे कि ये ऑर्डर मिल जाएगा?
मेरे को था कुछ ना कुछ तो मिल जाएगा. It was not necessarily Domino's.
उस फैक्ट्री की कैपेसिटी कितनी थी?
उस फैक्ट्री की कैपेसिटी थी, मैं आपको एग्जैक्ट बता देता हूँ, 60,000 kgs. बिकॉज 70,000 किलो का जब ऑर्डर आया था तो वो 1 महीने की कैपेसिटी थी. एंड to put things into perspective, today it is about half an hour, 45 minutes worth of capacity. But at that time, and that is the first time I thought कि ये कंपनी अब चल जाएगी, अब बंद नहीं होगी. Order आ गया. You know, so after failing at my previous business, that business lasted about 4.5 years. My most difficult time of my life was the first 1.5 years of Veeba. Because रेस्टोरेंट बिजनेस बंद हो चुका था, पैसे खत्म हो चुके थे, कुछ नहीं था. एंड देन 1.5 years of, and all of you guys will become founders, or you're already founders, and you will all understand one day the most difficult thing for a founder, ask any founder, is जब सैलरी देने के पैसे ना हो. उससे ज्यादा मुश्किल कुछ भी नहीं है लाइफ में. So we've come close to that point 2 times in our lives, and I remember, you know, our senior team at that time had once come to me कि they knew it was really paining me, really, कि पैसे नहीं है सैलरी देने के. So they came and told me कि आप ना हमें मत दो, जूनियर्स को दे देते हैं जिनका हैंड टू माउथ सिचुएशन है, हमें आप 20 तारीख. आई कांट टेल यू प्रथम, मेरे ना जैसे यहाँ और यहाँ पे किसी ने 5-5 किलो के वेट्स रखे थे, सडनली दे गॉट, एज luck would have it, God was kind, we got a payment on 6th, and we could, that time salary day was 7th, so we could pay on 7th. But that is what shakes the core of a founder, you know, कि पैसे ही नहीं है सैलरी देने के लिए.
And I want to add context to that, क्योंकि so you built that restaurant for 3 years. So he was building a restaurant for 3 साल, वो नहीं चला. He shut that down. He sells a home, by the way, ठीक है? And he goes all in into making a factory without an order. So this all in attitude, and यहाँ पे everybody is, you know, searching for this, you know, कभी-कभी ये backup mindset होता है.
देखो बॉस, मैं एक चीज, सॉरी आपको काट रहा हूँ, मैं I have said this publicly 10 20, 30 times. I'm going to repeat this with humble, all humility I can find, hand folded. कोई अपना घर मत बेचना ये पॉडकास्ट देख के. 2013 इंडिया वाज डिफरेंट. कंज्यूमर में पैसा बहुत मुश्किल से मिलता था. It was a different India. 2013 India, tech investments. I can't take the fund's name, but they had, written a $200 million check, and he said, "बेटा अगर Veeba.com होता ना तो मैं पैसे डाल देता." मैं कहा बेटा क्यों बोल रहे हो यार? And today that guy runs a consumer-only fund, and he takes advice from me. So he knows who he is, but I can't take his name.
We have some work to do now.
We might also.
So this, to your question, where does this all-in attitude come from then? Like, अभी business बंद हुआ है, घर बेच दिया है.
Yeah, but how do you go all in into a business with such uncertainty, especially after a failure?
Can I tell you very honestly, and I'm thinking it as I'm speaking it because I've not given it so much thought. The restaurant business being a very public failure. So I was labeled a failure, right? This is pre-Zomato, pre-Swiggy. So if your restaurants are empty, there's no cloud kitchen to deliver remotely. I think, and again, God has been kind that, that decision was taken. It had something to do with me wanting to show that I'm not a failure. I think so. Now, I'm actually saying it as I'm thinking it because there is no other reason for me to do something like that. But, the restaurant business, while failing, genuinely, Jivraj gave me an insight that there is a dearth of sauces in India because I needed good sauces for my business and I wasn't getting them. So that I think was the core belief. And Indians, we love wet stuff. We love gravies. So if you imagine, if you eat a burger, the same, you talk about the bun, you talk about the tikki,
The cheese,
the patty, I mean. Now the same bun with the same patty, if you put Southwest Chipotle and a little bit of salsa, it becomes a Mexican burger. If you put tandoori mayonnaise and a little bit of onions, it becomes an Indian burger. So the least cost, but the maximum taste is from the sauce. And sauce is the most it's an unsung hero of the Indian food industry because the consumer speaks about the bun, that the bun crumbled, the bun's quality is not good. They speak about the protein content of the patty.
The entire impact is from the sauce.
From the sauce. So I thought that someone needs to give sauce the importance it deserves. And that is how this whole idea of let's get into sauces and do this properly. I had put this thing in my head that I will, with discipline, because B2C is expensive. So with discipline that I will stay away from B2C. Till the time we don't reach 100 crores in revenue, I will not go into B2C. And I started the company to be a distribution company. So, it was a lot of discipline required to not do.
But just a
B2C.
question. If I were in your place, right, or if I would even advise my students, I would say, pehle 1-2 mahina, first couple of months, just do some trading. See whether there is a market, understand the customers, understand the demand, the pricing, and then you can start thinking about a factory. So did you also think, let me try some trading maybe for the first couple of months? Not at all.
So, I don't like the concept of trading because, but Pratham, just imagine now, it's very difficult to think of it now, but let's think of a product. I'm sure there's a product which is just not manufactured in India. India में कद्दू की sauce, tomato sauce को छोड़ के और कुछ बन नहीं रहा था. So,
you had no option actually.
Yeah.
You had to invent the product essentially.
And one day I will launch a kaddu sauce also, but I will call it Cinderella sauce. That's my, it's my, when we go completely into, 5,000 towns, I will launch a Cinderella sauce, but I will own that we are selling pumpkin sauce. Because if the consumer is eating pumpkin sauce in tier 3, tier 4, they should get it from a high quality manufacturing unit. Taste is subjective, science is not subjective, microbiology is not subjective. So,
Understood. So you had to set up your factory because nobody was manufacturing these sauces. So at that time, McDonald's already existed, Domino's had already come. How were they fulfilling their demand at that time? So before you,
the biggest names of the world are in the sauce industry today, and they were their suppliers, and there were a lot of B2B suppliers supplying only to them. So we, being a young kid, we could not go and fight to or get that business on money. So if I undercut a big boy, he's going to take a stick and spank me so hard that there's no. All our challenges were fought on what we call internally BFI, better for you. So we went to, let's say, a KFC and we said, okay, guys, you're selling fried chicken. Let us try and reduce as much fat from the mayonnaise as possible. Let's try and do it a bit healthier. And I'm really proud to share this with you that even today, even back then when we had no money, the only place where there is no question asked on the money being spent is R&D. Even this, you see, we
51% less fat.
Right, yeah. And now read the label has become cool. But we have been writing, better, we have been writing in front of pack, 1.1 gram added sugar per serving. Now, sugar is suddenly become a bad word.
Yeah.
And I had heard some really intelligent food blogger saying Veeba bottle, 20 grams of sugar in this bottle. I mean, unfortunately for me, no one takes this and, drinks it like good. I would have been far more wealthier than what I am today. But the fact of the matter is, sometimes you take things literally that this bottle, yes, it has 20 grams of sugar. But what is more important is 1 gram per serving. Now, imagine if you're eating a 200-gram salad. So today you can have a Mexican salad, tomorrow a Moroccan salad, day after tomorrow American salad. So 1 gram of sugar enables you to have a 220-gram salad. So sugar added in the pack has to be taken in context of a chocolate or an aerated beverage where you open it and consume the whole thing. Something which is consumed in a fridge over 3 months, it is not, very honestly and with utmost respect to all food bloggers, come out and say it correctly that sugar, and there's so many dietitians who actually prescribe our salad dressings because they realize 1 gram of sugar allows you to have a 200-250 gram,
Which you otherwise would not eat.
Exactly.
That's a great point, actually.
Yeah.
Never thought of it like that.
Yeah.
That's my excuse now. No, but honestly,
But in my defense, if you eat it with salad, yes. But if you eat it with French fries and chips, then you can't. You put on weight, you can't blame Veeba for it.
No, in fact, my nutritionist, I have not been able to gain weight. Okay.
Oh yeah.
It's a
This
good
is
thing
a
and a
good
bad
problem
thing.
to have.
And so,
मेरा suddenly पेट अंदर हो गया जैसे you spoke about weight.
and my nutritionist was like, you have to start eating happy foods, Pratham. You can't be like all salads and all this.
Yeah, actually, but you can then have it with French fries. Even better for
I'm
you.
looking forward.
Yeah. So I make this really good. I call it risotto, but it's not risotto. But I call it risotto. I take rice, and then we make this really good salsa. So salsa has jalapenos, onions, tomatoes, all of that. So yeah, exactly. And if we open it, no, it's not saucy. It's chunky. It will not just flow out. It's chunky because you have to scoop it in the nachos and all of that. So I make this thing. I take rice. I put 2 spoons of this. Add a little bit of cheese melt. There's a product. It's not here, but cheese melt, and it actually in 2-3 minutes. And this is 100% fat free. There's nothing So it is so tasty, and yet it's almost diet food.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Interesting. Got it. So now the distribution, you said first 100 crores, we'll do only B2B.
Yes.
Domino's was your first.
So what happened when we got Domino's? Domino's was the largest chain of the country, and when we got Domino's, suddenly there was a like a aura around us because we had bagged the largest chain. They're still the largest chain of the country, and after that, when we went to Yum is the company which owns Pizza Hut, KFC, and Taco Bell. They would talk to us seriously. Burger King would talk to us seriously, and after that, so when we started Veeba in 2013, my first, let's say, 18 months were really difficult. Then we got Domino's about a year and a half later. That is the best phase of Veeba because as soon as we got Domino's, we suddenly got all the other clients.
And Domino's also closed because of better for you philosophy.
Yeah.
But how did they take a bet?
Yeah, and I want you to spend a bit more time because you make it sound like 1.5 years is easy. But again, like to be stuck in one place without revenue, not being able to pay salaries, but still being at it with a fully functional production facility with nothing to
Where
sort
you're
of
paying
produce.
debt.
Yeah. And I know the story because you mentioned it, but you were at it. 6 months lag gaye. You would go to the factory, go to the client every sort of day. Talk to us about that because again, that mindset is which I feel is very necessary for us to imbibe.
This is the answer is a bit emotional, so if bear with me. So a lot is spoken about the founder. Honestly, the founder's family, spouse and fiance and now wife, they play a very important role. So, you're the happy, smiling, decision-making guy at office all day, but the angry, irritable, sometimes, hungry guy who reaches home, the family, like, so I am very, very, my family played a huge role because that 1.5 years without a incredibly supportive spouse. I had like Veeba is our second child. Before that, I had my first son Rajveer and then Ranveer. Till date, they're okay with they know Papa has never come for a parent teacher meeting. So the whole family and Ridhima, my wife, she played an incredible role. She was all in 100% support, and they were difficult days. So please don't get they were really difficult days because I think they take a toll on the mental health of a founder. They were very difficult days. We had started selling. ऐसा नहीं है we had not started selling, but we were selling 5 lakh rupees, 6 lakh rupees a month kind of revenue. They were really difficult days, but the only and only option you have at that time, and all of you, I promise you, when you start your companies, you will go through those days of no sales or under 10 lakh rupee sales. There is just no other substitute to showing up at work on time every day without fail. You just cannot say, oh shit man, aaj kuch dhanda nahi milega, let me just stay at home. You just have to be the first person inside the office. Today I'm not the first person inside the office. I'm a bit spoiled, but I'm roughly 50% after 50% of the people I come in. But you just, and that also keeps you sane. So you just get up every morning, get ready, wear good clothes. Don't become cap and Bermuda shorts and t-shirt kind of a guy to office. Wear good clothes, get ready, go to office, be there. Because when you're there, you're meeting people, you're thinking, you'll go to clients.
Your mindset.
Your mindset. The whole game in the first 1.5 years is of the mind. There is just no other game there. And it is vulnerable, it is tough. If you have a girlfriend or a fiance or a wife, talk to them. If not, nothing beats, getting together with friends twice a week, abusing the world. Honestly, I can't tell you how important a role my friends also played because they all, you're cranky, irritable, you get together and you abuse the world together. But it is venting out. It is so, and now with a little bit of intelligence, I think all of that played, it was almost like therapy for me. Like at that time, I did not know, but I think that is what my family, my wife, my parents also, obviously, and my friends, I think they got me through that 1.5 years.
When did you feel then ready? Ki Domino's is done, Yum is done. Now let's do
so
a B2C.
2016 and a half, I remember the day clearly. On day one of starting VRV, I had started working on our retail products in R&D. In fact, this product is my favorite product and the first product Veeba ever launched, Southwest.
So this is the first one, huh?
Yeah.
And this was a fun fact. This was the packaging.
Yeah, the packaging was slightly different, but yeah. On day one, I started working on this product, and 2016 and a half is when we reached the 100 crore run rate. 8.33 crores hua, and I said, okay, let's get into consumer now, B2C. And that is, we launched with this and a few other products, Southwest Chipotle.
And you still haven't raised money.
No, we've raised
So
3
you've
times.
raised.
So once I raised in 2013. So the plant was ready. We ran out of money. So DSG, we did a raise with Deepak.
And this is when your business plan was B2B.
No, I was very clear that it is going to be a
B2C,
B2C.
so that's why DSG. Okay, got it.
And DSG also, we were DSG's first check. So it was his first check. Deepak had obviously invested as a separate fund earlier, but
Everest kya tha?
No. This was
Soon
Gem and Bear Capital.
Bain Capital.
Yeah, I think so. I'm
He
not
was
sure.
doing PE.
But we were DSG's first investee company. So Deepak was also starting out. I was also starting out. We really hit it off. And his
What was the first raise? How big was it?
Oh, I mean, the valuation was around, the valuation, not the money raise, it was around 20-30 crores kind of a thing. So if, so how kind has God been to me, right? If I don't know if we've not raised money for a long time now. Last time we raised was 7 years back. But the valuations we get are those labeled valuations now, that you are this animal or that animal. But those valuations, that is where we started. So we did first round with DSG. Second round
That money
with
was spent on the factory.
factory.
all
Yeah.
that.
So my house plus DSG's money was spent on the factory. Then second.
So you spent equity money on the factory.
Yes, yes, of course. But again, see, this is not as bad as it sounds, because a lot of people tell me the same. You spent equity, but against that asset you get debt. So
Okay,
you
okay, okay, it's one way, it's one
utilize
way,
you
yeah.
can utilize that
Makes
money.
sense, makes sense.
And at that time, yes, we used to take every last cent of debt available to us was taken. And second round we did with Sama, Ash Lilani. Ash Lilani is like a brother to me. Like Deepak and Ash are two of my closest friends today. Then the third fundraise we did was with World Invest, Arjun Anand. Arjun again is like a closest friend for me today. So imagine four friends sitting on the board running a thing, and it's I know so many founders who hate their board meetings. I am one of those founders. I'm looking forward to oh, yeah, board meeting.
Till things are going good, which they will, I'm sure.
No. So Pratham, very important side note, things have not always gone good, right?
Fair.
There have been tough times, and yes, they're hardcore professionals. We've had disagreements on the board, but it is not that at the end of the day, the board's primary role, if a board member is wearing the board member hat properly, my primary role is not Viraj Bahl, the founder or promoter. Their primary role is not the investor. A board member's only responsibility is the organization first. And these three funds, I can very put my stamp of approval. They have been tested in the bad times by me, and they have supported me no matter what. One more thing I'll tell you, and all of you will raise money at some point in time. All the fundraisers I've done, and I can, one day come to my office, I'll show you proof, written proof. All the fundraisers I've done, I've had a higher valuation on the table. All of them. But I have never chosen the highest number. I've always chosen the right partner. Because the right partner, it's almost like a marriage. You imagine you marry a bad person, how life will change for you. The same thing is applicable for 1 or 2% dilution. You should not marry the wrong person. So three very high quality people / funds, and then and at the end of the day, it is very clear. Ask any investor. No investor works for you. Their job by definition is to support you. The founder has to do the work, right? So yeah.
Got it. Now coming back to the D2C, so
Yes.
consumer
Also,
play.
2016, when you launch consumer, the sauces market is primarily ketchups, right?
At that
but
time, yeah.
you launch everything apart from ketchup.
Yes.
In fact, ketchup you launched maybe
Last
1-2
year,
years back,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Talk to us about that. हम ये product innovation, form factor, ये सारी चीजें, we discuss all of this. In theory, it seems very interesting, but you actually proved it. New bottle, new kind of sauces, new flavors, right?
Yes.
All of that in 2016.
Yes.
Which at that time you could argue that maybe the Indian consumer was not as ahead as it probably is today, right?
Yeah.
So what were you thinking? Talk to us about
Or what
that.
were you not thinking? It's a polite way of asking what is wrong with you. So
No, but it is really commendable. Like, think about it. I don't know, like, how many of you remember, but I remember the Kisan ketchup, right? And I don't remember it anymore because I only have Veeba. But at the time, but at the time, everything is ketchup, and he goes ahead and launches very different
Southwest
kind of
Chipotle,
Southwest Chipotle,
And
right?
on your TAM slide, like there are 5 families in Camellias. That
So, okay, so here is my thinking, and out of all the clients, I don't think I've ever said this publicly before this. Out of all the clients that we had, you notice Subway was the name which was missing. So I thought there are about 500 Subways, and every Subway
has this, huh?
has a Southwest Chipotle sweet onion, and so 500 Subways, and I thought every Subway will have 50 dedicated consumers, which means once a month they eat at that. So 500 into 50 का मैंने formula लगाया कि इतने लोग तो
जिनको आदत है,
जिनको आदत है, so
जो ढूंढ रहे हैं,
जो ढूंढ रहे हैं, and so I mean, not that they're the same formulation, obviously. We much lower fat than the what I believe is the Subway product. Today, by the way, we also supply to Subway, but they're now like a giant, and they're doing amazing work. And today it doesn't make a difference to them. We are also settled. They're also like a giant. So my philosophy was that people are used to having 2-3 sauces on their subs, and those sauces are not available on the shelf. So why not start with them? What I did not realize that by mistake, I am starting from the top. So if you look at the Indian consumer pyramid,
More like this, yeah.
yeah. So right at the bottom is India's most widely distributed product, which is Parle Ji. Right on top, the peakest peak will be Southwest Chipotle. But what I did not realize at that time that if you start from Southwest Chipotle, it's easier
to
to
go
come
down.
into mayonnaise, and it is easier to come into chili sauces, then ketchup and so on. It is very difficult. Now imagine one of the Kaddu sauces company, they launch a mayonnaise.
Yeah, we won't get it from them.
Consumer will
We won't
not
it.
buy. And I did not know I was planning this. But when it happened, then I later realized that it is easy to come down but not go up. So once, and the other thing which happened, and again, not planned, but God was so kind that this became a category where the big boys just ignored us because it was too
It's a smaller
small,
market.
too smaller market. So they just let us play.
True blue
कि
ocean.
बच्चे खेल रहे खेलने दो and उसमें brand बन गया. What we did not, and when we entered in the ketchup or the categories where the big boys
Like,
are,
product अच्छा है.
we were by then a brand and we were by then accepted by the consumer's fridge. And then it was a bit, yes, somewhat of ragging still happens, and every, if you're in first year, third year, students do rag you in a polite way. So that kind of ragging happens in the industry also. So ragging banti hai, but now we were of the same might of as them in the sauce business. We are one of India's largest sauce companies. We have distribution might, we have a brand might, and most importantly, we had consumer love with us already. So when we entered ketchup, so imagine this is going to shock the hell out of you. Imagine one of India's largest sauce companies till a year and a half back was not present in India's largest sauce segment, which is ketchup. One of India's largest sauce companies was not present in India's second largest sauce segment, which is Chinese sauces, green chili, red chili, soya, vinegar. We entered that about 6 months back with Wok Talk.
yeah.
So can you imagine how cool is this that one of India's largest sauce company was absent from the category 1 and category 2? And when we went into ketchup, I had consumers coming and telling me we have grown up on your ketchup, and I didn't have the heart to tell them that we've just launched it. But it was obvious that a sauce company cannot be that daft that it's not present in ketchup. So obviously they thought we were present in ketchup, right? So the customer acceptance was so good, and because we are Veeba, and we do not do we are a proud Indian company which is trying to make the best sauces in the world. The ketchup we launched was India's first preservative-free tomato ketchup. Now, I feel that Indian kids are as good as kids from the West. So, if kids over there are getting preservative-free ketchup, why not our kids? Why aren't the incumbents who, or some of the MNCs who are selling preservative-free ketchups in the rest of the world, why aren't they giving it to our kids? So we launched with preservative-free tomato ketchup. We launched with sugar-free tomato ketchup. I do not know if there's a small boutique company doing something somewhere when we launched. I'm not aware. But to the best of my knowledge, we were India's first sugar-free and India's first preservative-free ketchup. Even there, we did not take them head on. We first established ourselves in ketchup, and then, yes, obviously, we launched other ketchups.
What a story.
Super.
No? That's a
Yeah,
great insight.
exactly.
But
I mean,
I have a question on this.
Yeah, please.
Ki, how did the people around you, your team, your employee, investors feel about this strategy? This is not conventional
Textbook.
thinking.
Textbook
Yeah, it's not
strategy.
textbook, right?
Yeah.
आपकी conviction, आपकी sales ले गई.
नहीं, कोई बात ही नहीं कर रहा था. We were not talking of strategy. There was only one strategy कि last month इतना sale है, इस महीने उससे थोड़ी सी ज्यादा कैसे करनी है. उसके लिए ये बेचना पड़ेगा तो ये बेच लेते हैं.
But then ketchup would have been the easiest.
No, you don't go and piss the big boys, right? Otherwise, they'll press on you so hard that you'll white stuff will lose out of you, kind of a thing. So ketchup was if I had to take credit for 2-3 things, number one was that I stayed away from the big boy categories till we did not have our own might and distribution. In India, it's very, very difficult to go off scale if you don't have distribution. With quick com, e-com, you have to understand that it is still 10% of the market, 90% is still outside of that, right? So I think that is one. Second thing is, what happened by chance for us, because the metros were dominated by the big boys, we started selling outside the metros. My intelligence was that when that model succeeded, like we, instead of coming to Delhi, first we did around Delhi. We did a Chandigarh, Ludhiana, Philor, Hoshiarpur, and then we came into Delhi. My intelligence was that was by chance. That was only simply because we had less money, so wherever we get bang for our buck, we went there. And what we spoke about last time, we gave less inventory to shops. But my intelligence, where I can take credit, is that when I saw that working, we implemented that in South India, East India, West India. So today's VRB, imagine our biggest city is Delhi, our largest state is Maharashtra, and our largest region is South India. So we are truly national in that sense. Obviously, South India has 3 metros, so because of that, it's a big market also. But that makes it. Can you imagine?
I would not have guessed that.
A 10-year-old Indian startup is a fully national distribution company.
What was the distribution strategy like? Was it through distributors? Was it through your own feet on street? How did you start and how did you scale?
This answer is going to be so important for all of your students here who are in the sub 10 lakh journey right now. Distribution margins have to be set in day one, which means even if you're selling directly, let's say you are a shopkeeper, I'm a distributor and he is Veeba. He always has to put my margin in before selling. So tomorrow, if your sales go up, he can immediately hire me. Even if in the beginning, Veeba is selling directly to the retailer, margins have to be built in on day one. That is number one. Number two,
Explain with mathematics, sorry.
Correct. 100 रुपए का product.
100 रुपए का MRP. Let's say retailer earns the most out of one bottle, and rightly so because his infrastructure. So retailer, let's say he gets it at 85, I get it 6% less or 5% less, but 6% on markup and 5% on markdown. So let's say मोटा भी मैं 5 rupees कर देता हूँ. So I get it for 80. When Veeba was small and we were selling directly to retailers, my 5 rupee was always in his pocket, not in your pocket. So 15% पे आपको मिल रहा था, but there was always a built-in distributor.
Got it.
So whenever your sales increase, he could easily appoint me as a distributor.
So in my cost structure, I will have to keep 5 rupees to ensure I'm giving it to the distributor.
Yeah.
So I have to mark for
because
that.
in the beginning, the distributors will not take your product, right? And what we had done, our secret
So almost
was
like a minimum guarantee.
Yeah. No, not a minimum guarantee.
In a way, on a product.
Yeah, on
a product that you've given to the distributor.
So, in what our secret was that we used to go to shopkeepers, me, like some people from the team, Hemant, Anil, they're still there, and we used to go at a time when the shoppers were shopping. Okay, so we would choose a time of 5 in the evening, 6 in the evening, open our bottles, make them taste and say, ma'am, agar ye product is dukaan mein milega, aap loge, she would say 100%. And then you would tell the shopkeeper, dekho ye customer ready hai. And the second really good thing which worked for us, the good shops we went to, it's an incredible insight I'm sharing with all of you. The good shops we went to, we asked the shopkeeper, which distributor are you comfortable working with? So the shopkeeper was telling us the name of the distributor.
जो आपको सबसे अच्छा प्राइस देता है.
Price से ज़्यादा service देता है ये करता है because in retail prices are fixed, right?
दोस्ती होते हैं आपस में सब. They're all friends.
Maybe credit extend करता होगा, maybe service अच्छी देता होगा, maybe store साथ में होगा, whatever the reason might be. That worked like magic. I can't tell you how big an insight this is because I'm sitting in a room full of hopefully people who will become entrepreneurs. This worked the best for us.
Yeah.
And my only request is don't be a sauce entrepreneur. Leave that to me. But other than that, that worked out the best for us because the distributor, the most important person in the whole FMCG world is the shopkeeper. So now when the distributor and shopkeeper become one, or they have come to the same thing, that really worked like magic for us. So we would go do tasting in the evening, get the shopkeeper on board, and once the shopkeeper is on board, we would request him to share, sir, apne koi achhe distributor se mila do. And then that is how we got our first distributor. So to put things into perspective, we started Delhi with one distributor, all of Delhi. I don't know what the exact number today is, but I remember when the number was 90. So it must be more than that now. But I remember a few years back, the number was 90 distributors for Delhi. So, then the penetration keeps increasing. And our first distributor is still with us. and the revenue he was doing in all of Delhi, today the area of West Delhi that he's in, he's doing a higher revenue than that. Because we've launched more products, our depth has gone in and so on. So that in retail in India, how things work are there are three steps. Step one is consignment sales. माल बिक गया तो पैसे मिल जाएंगे. Step two is PTC and step three is advance. That you get your money in advance. So there are bad debts. There are money does not come back because माल बिकता नहीं है. Problems आती हैं. But your journey, all of your journey has to be how to reach a place where you get guaranteed payment in 2-3 weeks. That is the win.
That is PMF.
That is PMF. Yes, that is PMF. I feel very cool when I use PMF and all that. ROAS, as we learned today morning. So PMF, product market fit, is in India in retail. There is only one product market fit, which is पैसे retail से आगे. That is it. Retail in India only pays when you're
माल वापस नहीं भेजा.
माल वापस नहीं भेजा. The three words on which FMCG in India runs. I could not have. I'm going to use these words actually. But I'm telling you, Pratham, the number of times we've had bad debts or the shopkeeper has not paid because of stock. So it is, you just don't give up. You have to be at there. If the product is getting old, you pick it up before, the shopkeeper disses it. I advise a lot of young founders now, and I see their cash flow statements. And let me honestly tell you, if your money has not come from Indian retail in 35 days, at best 40 days, it is not coming. Please write that off. That money is not coming.
30 days.
I take a liberal 40 days because of 40 days, if your turnaround has not happened, then that product has not sold, and that is the only reason. Our shopkeepers, our kirana shop owners are the best business people in the world. Store space is their only asset. They have to
Turnover,
like turnarounds, right? So if your product is selling, trust me, he will give you the money because he wants his revenue to go up. So, and if your money is not coming, please go back to your PMF because there is a problem there.
Something more has to be done.
Yeah.
And then when did you think of going beyond sauces? Sauces is a huge market. You could have, kept at it.
Yeah.
You decided to get into, of course, Chinese sauces, but also noodles, ready to eat, all of that.
So noodles, the thing is, I have two kids, Rajveer and Ranveer, who were using a lot of instant noodles, and my wife said, "अपने आप को बड़ा food technologist बनते हो, कुछ बच्चों के लिए अच्छा बनाओ." So I'm imagine as an Indian company, this is the first time in India or probably the world, no maida, no MSG, no palm oil. So my wife had a problem with my kids eating too much fried maida. I had a problem with palm oil. So we said, why not VRB be the company which solves this problem? So VRB of today, let me explain how this company is. Our flagship brand is Veeba, the main brand, and 80-85% of the revenue. Our second brand is a brand called Tasty Pixel, which is also a sauce and jam and pickle brand. If I'm doing my job well, everybody who's present in this room should not see Tasty Pixel. It's our tier 3, tier 4 brand. Even the label is, Karishma Kapoor on the label doing this. Like old school packaging, old school labeling, and Karishma Kapoor is a name of trust, right? So this kind of
I didn't know she was a name.
So she was a brand ambassador.
I'm tier 3 city, so.
So now when you go to shops around your area, Jalandhar, you will find Tasty Pixel in some of the shops over there. So even Jalandhar seat, you don't be modest. Jalandhar is very rich, so Jalandhar is also not our most
highest GDP per capita.
Yeah, and India. I think highest number of Mercedes in one per capita.
That's Ludhiana.
So हम फिर वहाँ जाके Tasty Pixel थोड़ी बेचेंगे, But that was our second brand to cross 100 crores in revenue, Tasty Pixel. And that tells you about the depth of India. And that is why I was joking about the Cinderella sauce, because I think tier 2, tier 3, tier 4 India deserves quality products manufactured in hygiene conditions, which should take on. See, our FSSAI laws are incredible. They are such well-defined laws. We have one of the lowest preservatives permissions in the world. We have no synthetic color. It is an amazing body. Where the problem happens is that some small guy who's making fried snacks from a shop and selling them loose, he decides that my chips should look red in color and he decides to put red synthetic color, that is where problems happen. The
Packaged is okay.
the good reputation companies will never ever do something like that. Anyways, I digress completely. So brand number 1 is Veeba, brand number 2 is Tasty Pixel, brand number 3 is Walk Talk by Veeba. So this brand, when we launched, it was Veeba Walk Talk. Now it's become Walk Talk by Veeba, and maybe another year Veeba will leave the thing.
How
and
many
be Walk
people saw
Talk.
the ad with Diljit? It's a very good one. You should check it out.
Thank
when
you.
Walk Talk launched,
बहुत पैसे खर्चे थे, thank God एक ने तो देखी, you know.
Again, I'm guessing, and correct me if I'm wrong, कि this ready-to-eat noodle market is a very small market in India, right? Or is it large?
No. It's see, the noodle market is India's largest processed food item, because noodle market में there's no study for the cup noodles. But noodle
minus
market
Maggi,
में
minus
exactly,
Maggi.
उसमें मैगी और हिप्पी आ जाते हैं तो उसके साथ सारी लाइफ बदल जाती है. They are brands I don't even think about. Not even in my wildest fantasies do I think about beating a Unilever or a Nestle. I want to be a worthy competitor to them. That is my aim. So, if the consumption story of India is just getting started, if I'm a worthy competitor, even if I end up with 10, 15, 20% share, that is humongous. So, and they are, I mean, sauce is such high competition market. They are the national incumbents, and then every town has its one sauce
Local
manufacturer.
player.
So we are in that sense born. We are a child of competition. Our defense mechanism is that we are always competing.
No, but it's commendable that they like started 10 years back, but they are larger in sauces, at least from the incumbent, which is Kisan, right? Like,
I am not saying
he won't
that.
say it. Yeah, he won't say it.
No, because I don't know. Let me put it this way: we are one of India's largest sauce companies. I think that's the only way. And you know, I really request you to please try our noodles after this. And the Besharmo wala brand plug in. Please go and buy our noodles. They're healthy and
College
they're really
students
tasty.
would be a good market.
College students, our biggest market, like it's rocking on quick com.
How many of you eat?
Yeah, has anyone eaten my Walk Talk noodles?
Okay, fair, yeah, absolutely. In the instant,
The vending machine.
the vending
Oh,
machine.
yeah. See, ये sale बढ़ाने वाली. Thanks.
Ideas.
Yeah. So, you know, like, were they tasty? No, मत बोलना publicly, सब देख रहे हैं. But you like, so that's the thing. Now, the biggest question is, you will not even realize this, but when you're eating these noodles, you will not realize that this noodle is made without maida. That is the victory. That you're eating a.
Yeah. No MSG.
No मैदा,
palm
okay,
oil,
बीच में बिल्कुल.
No maida.
और बड़ा कर सकते हो इसको.
और बड़ा कर देंगे. So, but you know, that is the win, because everything at the end of the day sells on taste. So imagine no palm oil, no maida, and no, you know, MSG, and yet when he ate it, he did not think that maida nahi hai isme. And you know, palm oil, other than being the cheapest fat, is also, it gives body. You know, palm oil is the one जब वो जम जाता है तो डालडा type नहीं बना. So it also gives some body to the noodle. So there's no palm oil also. So, and making him realize that there is none of these things, that is something.
Got it. Interesting. All right. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. No, but thank you. Seriously.
Thank
This
you.
was
Thank
beautiful.
you. Thank you.
I hope all of
Thank
you
you.
also
Always a
enjoyed.
pleasure.